From Australia, this is VK1WIA and the weekly WIA amateur radio news service on RF, internet streaming and text at wia.org.au.
And with the national news for week commencing March 22, 2020, I'm Graham, VK4BB. Due to concerns raised over the COVID-19 virus, many events in the forthcoming weeks are being cancelled or postponed. So please check before travelling to any event. Tasmania has closed its borders, so what of our WIA AGM? Vice President Aiden joins us shortly with the inside look. One event that would have gone over the 100 guest rule was to take place just north of Brisbane in VK4, so Redfest 2020 has been cancelled.
Greetings from the Redcliffe and District Radio Club, VK4RC. Robert Thompson, VK4TFN here. This is indeed a sad turn of events. However, the executive has had no choice but to cancel Redfest 2020 due to the current public health concerns. Next year, there will be a Redfest 2021, circumstances permitting.
Along with many other cancellations of events throughout the country where there are a number of people likely to attend, Amateur Radio New South Wales has done likewise and cancelled the scheduled Sunday, March 29 Trash and Treasure, along with the Experimenters Group Lecture, which would have been held later in the day. Other ARNSW activities of members at the Dural site are under review. Interested parties are reminded to listen to the Sunday VK2WI news sessions for updates after the national news. In VK3, EMDRC Committee, after due consideration, have cancelled their 2020 EMDRC Hamfest. Gips Tech 2020 has been cancelled. In VK6, Bob, VK6 POP, in a phone conversation has told me how Perth Tech at Bassendean is to be cancelled. More of that in their local News West. In VK7, Meet the Voice organiser Danny VK7 FREQ has also made the decision to cancel the Meet the Voice gathering. And for our Kiwi friends, Your Conference 2020 is cancelled. NZART Council made the decision to cancel the conference in Shantytown this year, due of course to COVID-19 situation and taking on board all the advice for doing so. NZART Council expresses its thanks to the Conference 2020 Organising Committee for all the hard work put in to run this event so far. For those who have registered to attend in Shantytown, contact Debbie at headquarters advising your bank account for registration payments to be refunded to. And of course the world's major ham gathering has been cancelled. Dayton Hamvention Executive Committee advised their patrons last Sunday. Now again, due to concerns raised over the COVID-19 virus, many events in the forthcoming weeks are being cancelled or postponed. Please check before travelling to any event. Arguably, one of the most important special board meetings in our 110-year history took place electronically Wednesday night. Our Vice President chaired and is here with us now on one of the issues.
Howdy, this is Aiden, VK4 APM, with this week's board comment. No news presentation seems to be complete these days without some mention of COVID-19, the novel coronavirus that has driven panic and fear into the world's economic and social engines. And this broadcast is no exception. The health and well-being of the amateur cohort and our members is of the highest priority. Out of an abundance of caution, consideration for the health and well-being of our members, and in an effort to deliver certainty to the amateur community, not to mention a federal government mandate, the board of the WIA met last Wednesday and endorsed the recommendation of the 2020 WIA Conference Organising Committee to cancel this event. Instead, the 2021 WIA Conference will take place in Hobart. The Organising Committee has recommended, and the board has agreed, that the 2021 conference be arranged at a date and time such that those who receive credits for flight and accommodation are in a position to use them within the 12-month time frame that has been announced by all Australian airline carriers. The Organising Committee will make information regarding the 2021 WIA Conference available in the near future. We would like to thank the Organising Committee for the enormous amount of work put into the 2020 WIA Conference and a large number of people who have already subscribed. We apologise for the inconvenience caused. These are extraordinary times and they require extraordinary measures. All those who've paid registration fees will receive full refunds over the coming days. The annual general meeting is a legal requirement stipulated by the Corporations Act 2001. The board has sought advice from the Australian Securities and Investment Commission and will provide an update to members in due course. The board would like to encourage all operators to practice social separation, wash and dry your hands regularly, and promptly seek advice if you feel you are affected by COVID-19. Stay safe. That's all from me, VK4 APM.
Thanks, Aidan. And I did ask the board again, when will we be given the result of the WIA poll on call sign makeup? And Aidan has said, poll for inclusion next week. I didn't want to have two messages in the market, for example, coronavirus and the poll. Hopefully also next week, the result of our January call for new directors.
WIA Director John VK4JJW here with some info on the Amateur Radio Exam Service conducted by the Australian Maritime College, University of Tasmania. AMC exams are off as from Monday the 23rd of March. The AMC has contacted all registered assessors and advised that it will temporarily suspend the exam service with no further face-to-face examinations to be conducted and to monitor the AMC website for updates as the situation progresses. Of course, this is because of that pesky COVID-19 virus problem again. Under direction from the University of Tasmania policy, all face-to-face teaching and related activities are to cease, and this will include the AMC amateur radio assessors. Furthermore, no examination papers will be issued from the office. New developments, including the 2x1 call signs, will be on hold until the situation has resolved. You can check on the detail of this, as posted by our WIA President, Greg, VK2GPK, on the WIA website under the News Releases section. I'm John, VK4JJW.
From Australia, this is VK1WIA and the weekly WIA amateur radio news service on RF, internet streaming and text at wia.org.au.
International news, I'm Jason, VK2LAW, and a rather shortened look at our hobby around the globe, as most of the news coming across the desk has been in the form of cancellations due to that bug. Although, as previously announced, Dayton will not go ahead due to COVID-19, the Dayton Hamvention has named the recipients of its 2020 awards. Steve Frank, Kilo 9 Alpha November, Bill Somerville, Golf 4 Whiskey Juliet Sierra, and Nobel Laureate Joe Taylor, Kilo 1 Juliet Tango, have been awarded the Technical Achievement Award. This next international story has its roots right here in VK. Unfortunately, due to the newsroom browser attack on Editor Graham's PC, it didn't make it to the Aussie news, but here's the story as I filed it to AR Newsline. Amateurs holding a licence in Australia, which was obtained under a reciprocal licensing arrangement, have now had their licence term shortened to 1 year, and they are no longer automatically renewable. The ACMA, Australia's national regulator's action, impacts the apparatus licence for hams wishing to operate in Australia for more than 3 months, but has no impact on the 3-month allowance given to operators on holiday in Australia operating under the CEPT agreement. The ACMA states on their website that they now require holders of any licence issued under a reciprocal agreement to sit their Amateur Operator's Certificate of Proficiency AOCP examination before their licences can become annually renewable. The examination is taken through the Australian Maritime College at a cost of $90 Australian. A link to additional details about the changes can be found in the text edition of this report. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jason Daniels, VK2LAW. New Zealand Defence Force getting new HF radios. In New Zealand, the military is relying more than ever before on HF radio. Underscoring his faith in the reliability of HF radio communications, Ron Mark, the Defence Minister of New Zealand, has announced that the engineering company Babcock NZ Limited will be replacing the HF radio capability of the New Zealand Defence Force. The official's announcement was an acknowledgement of HF radio's ability to provide coverage when conventional communications don't work and in areas unreachable by satellites. The infrastructure to be replaced was installed in the 1980s and is now outdated, he said. He expects it to be in place by August of 2023. In the USA, their army is rethinking its use of radios and has asked Congress to approve $3 billion to pay for tactical network radios that will enable more secure battlefield communications. The radios are expected to be a combination of handhelds and manpack radios, and they would be acquired during the next 4 years and include a 2-channel leader radio and a rifleman radio. According to budget documents quoted, the Army plans a test of 2-channel radio technologies, but will also evaluate use of single-channel radios that make use of advanced networking waveforms. AMSAT Brazil QO100 FT8 QRP experiment. AMSAT Brazil is organising a reverse beacon FT8 QRP experiment contest via the QO100 geostationary amateur radio transponder. The first 10 spotted stations with lower SNR will receive a certificate of accomplishment. The deadline will be May 1st, 2020. To qualify, the signal-to-noise ratio must be lower than -18 dB as measured by the FT8 decoder. The receiver will be active on Saturdays and Sundays from 1200 UTC to 2400 UTC and will be tuned to 10.489540 GHz with a 3.5 kHz bandwidth. All stations calling CQ will be logged. The objective for the project is to raise low-power experimentation through the QO100 narrowband transponder. Stations participating in the experiment are welcome to send a brief description of their setup, including information about RF power output, hardware and software setups, antenna type and gain, photos, etc., to the email address in this week's WIA Text Edition. For WIA National News, in Sydney, I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
From Australia, this is VK1WIA and the weekly WIA amateur radio news service on RF, internet streaming and text at wia.org.au.
Ham Radio Operational News. It's a contact sport. I'm Felix, VK4FUQ. John Moore Memorial Field Day 2020 is nearing completion as you hear this news. So to all have taken part or are taking part, thank you for the time and effort to participate. With more on the John Moore Field Day, here is Dennis, VK4AE, WIA Contest Manager for Field Day 2020.
The weather this year has been far less than fair, with many perfect operating sites destroyed by fire or flood. With the added complexity of this virus pandemic, this contest has now added complexities undreamed of previously. As the aim of the Field Day contest is to encourage familiarisation with portable operation and to provide training for operations in emergency situation, simply setting up and operating a station is the ideal of the contest. Previously, we have had a number of club stations wanting to claim portable operation from their club rooms as they were not keen to actually operate portable. In addition, there were club stations who felt that operating at the local caravan using mains power was also portable operation. Of course, none of these stations were operated according to the rules or to the spirit of the contest. No matter how you took part in the contest, after all the activity is over and the radio equipment has been packed away, there is one task that must be completed by all stations. They must submit their log for the contest for validation of those contacts for the other stations. There is sufficient time allowed after the contest to actually complete and submit their logs to the WIA. However, because of the altered publishing lead time of the AR magazine, logs must be postmarked no later than the 5th of April 2020, and as the post is now so slow and unreliable, logs dispatched even on the last day might not arrive in time. Electronic versions of the log will only be received until midnight, 12th of April 2020. Any logs received after this date will be returned as ineligible. So, there are not many excuses today for not sending in your log, as it can be kept electronically while the contest is underway, and using one of the many logging programs such as VK Contest Log, VKCL, by our own Mike's VK1WIA. Then you simply have to submit the print output file from this program to me via one of the email addresses shown on the contest page of the WIA website. Of course, by submitting your log, you automatically enter the contest, and you never know, you might even get a certificate. Best of luck for all in the field for those still working in the contest, and I look forward to receiving your log entry after the event. Thanks.
AMNCW on Anzac Day, 25th of April 2020. While news is coming in about Anzac Day ceremonies in 2020 sensibly being cancelled to restrict the spread of COVID-19 and to protect veterans' health, one event will be going ahead regardless as it meets all the requirements for social distancing while still honouring those who have served, both fallen and alive. The AMNCW on Anzac Day event will again take to the air for the 9th year to honour those modes used by service personnel in earlier wars. Through the DX window and due to the COVID-19 situation, please check these expeditions with a quick Google for up-to-date status information. Mike VE7ACN from Easter Island until 30th of March. He'll use mainly CW on 8 of the 10 metres and the call sign will be CE0Y/VE7ACN. QSL via Club Log OQRS. VU4R on Neil Island in the Andaman Islands until the 31st of March. They plan to be active on all bands 160 to 10 metres using CW, SSB, RTTY and FT8. QSL manager is M0OXO. AK4JK has been reported active from Somalia with call sign 600/AK4JK on 40 and 20 metres CW, around 1700 Zulu. QSL to the home call. YI/IU5HWS Iraq from the 20th of March for 4 months. He is with the Italian Army and will not be able to QSL until he returns home. G3TXF is in Mauritius until the 27th of March, using the call sign 3B8XF, concentrating on 80 metres and 160 metres. QSLs go via Club Log OQRS and logs will be uploaded to the logbook of the world. Worth repeating. For those with an interest in VHF and UHF beacons, please note that the 23cm beacon VK2RSY Dural, normally on 1296.40 MHz, is off air pending a relocation to a new mounting, as yet to be determined. Some of the VK2WIA News HF frequencies have also been off air while their antennas were relocated. All this has been brought about when the former repeater tower was demolished. The VK2 RWI 6, 2 and 70cm repeaters now operate from the new monopole. The 23cm repeater will follow after some antenna mounting adjustments. For VK1WIA National News, I'm Felix, VK4FUQ Inningham.
Hello, I'm Bruce, VK3FFF, Worldwide Special Interest Group News. Final Frontier. A CubeSat with dreams of memes. It's still a work in progress, but there's a first for everything, even in the now familiar realm of CubeSats. Meet MemeSat-1, designed to be the world's first CubeSat to transmit memes. That's right, no scientific data, no Morse code message, but memes, those addictively appealing, infinitely shareable bits of content that young people typically enjoy, most especially on social media. MemeSat-1, however, plans to do it from space, something its developers at the non-profit letsgotospace.com have said could probably happen next year. The MemeSat will transmit the images stored in flash memory via the 70cm band for those waiting on Earth below. We hams, by the way, are also part of this scenario. The CubeSat will also be available for traditional amateur radio use with an FM repeater on UHF and VHF. IARU R2 emergency communication and satellite workshops to be online. With the travel restrictions and self-isolation requirements of many countries due to COVID-19, the May 30 and 31st workshops will be online, and the format will be 3 hours for each workshop to be held on the same dates starting at 1400 local time, AST, ET, and 1800 UT. Access will be via Zoom, an easy-to-use online conference tool available on a number of platforms. Attendees will get an agenda for each workshop and information on how to participate in mid-May. Worldwide special interest groups, military. World War II vets honoured during Florida special event. The nearly 48,000 World War II veterans who got their training at the Buckingham Army Airfield in Florida are being honoured by HAMS operating a special event station from March 24th through to March 26th. The Fort Myers Amateur Radio Club will be on the air from the former airfield from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on those 3 days, marking the site's importance. Today, it's privately owned and is known as Buckingham Field. It has a proud history as a flexible gunnery training base for United States soldiers who defended against bombers during the Second World War. QSL cards and a commemorative certificate will be available for successful contacts. I'm Bruce, VK3FFF.
This is VK1WIA. All points of contacts from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web editions www.wia.org.au.
This is Peter, VK8ZZ, Secretary of the Wireless Institute of Australia. As advised elsewhere in this broadcast by Vice President Aiden, VK4APM, the 2020 AGM has been cancelled. This is because of the issue with COVID-19. The board has also decided to postpone the annual general meeting to a date to be determined later this year. I will advise more details in the next few weeks. This has been Peter, VK8ZZ. Cheers.
On the social scene, outdoor events of less than 500 attendees can proceed if these procedures are followed. Consider the size of the space, the number of people in it, and how much room people have to move around safely. As a general rule, people should be able to keep 1.5 metres apart. Make hand hygiene products and suitable rubbish bins readily available. Conduct frequent cleaning and waste disposal. And we would ask that all clubs who have posted details of their events on the WIA calendar to make any alterations now. So again, due to the COVID-19 situation, please check all events direct for up-to-date status information. I'm Graham, VK4BB. And one last word, the final. In that story that Jason prepared, we do have an addition to that. The ACMA has since updated its position on grandfathering of existing licensees. Those in Australia who obtained their Australian licence based on a foreign qualification before the 19th of September 2019 will be able to continue renewing their licence each year. The 12-month limit only applies to reciprocal licences issued since September 2019. So, with that, I am Graham still, VK4BB. Walk safely.
From Australia, this has been VK1WIA and the weekly WIA Amateur Radio News Service. On RF, we thank our rebroadcast team and you for listening. And remember, internet streaming and text of this news is available 24/7 at wia.org.au.